Okay. Everyone, oh, for because of time constraints, we have time for about three questions. However, tomorrow, when we are fortunate to have a face-to-face session in the panel discussion in the afternoon, we can also ask Dr. Harrison to join in. So it's going to be a better engagement when we see each other face to face. Okay, so if anyone wants to ask a question, can you just kindly raise your hand and I will call you? Okay. So while we're waiting, you mentioned, Dr. Harrison, that you went to Macau in search of, something like more engagement, right? Did you find it? Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Um, yeah, no question about it. And the part of the other reason why I went was because I thought having a wider range of conversation partners would actually make me a better philosopher. And I think that that's true. Just the shock of talking about something that's familiar and finding out that people have entirely different views, entirely different assumptions, come at it from very different angles. Whereas in a philosophical community where pretty much everyone's had the same training, it's so much more predictable.
And I think unlike Hong Kong, right, which was a British colony, Macau was under the Portuguese, right? So
Yeah,
did that
yeah.
have any impact? I mean, if you went to Hong Kong, since you probably see a lot of British trained people there, but when you went to Macau, was there you think a difference in terms of the way they uh they thought or philosophized, the way they
Well, both places attract an international community of
Mhm.
scholars. So yeah, probably Hong Kong has got more British and American
Yes,
overall,
yes,
but Macau, it's got Chinese scholars,
yes, yes.
Asia, scholars from all over Asia, uh, as you said, Portuguese, but more often from former Portuguese colonies. Yeah, so a lot of international variation. But also in the student body and the PhD
Yeah,
students, they come from all over
all
with
over.
very different trainings, very different interests,
Mhm.
and different expectations.
So you have a diverse set of students for your graduate programs, or I mean for your department in philosophy. Diverse.
Yes, yeah, very diverse. Yeah,
You
yeah.
have Filipinos there in the graduate program.
I did.
Okay.
I had a excellent Filipino PhD student who graduated, I think, just about 12 months ago.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
he's now working in PNG.
Okay, that's nice. That's nice to hear. Okay. We have a question here from again from Mr. Cueto. I think he had a question for everyone, so it's only fitting that he has a question for Dr. Harrison, no? Go ahead, Mr. Cueto. Go ahead.
Hi, Professor Harrison. I was wondering how it would go for books, because in my experience, writing like when I try to read a philosophical article compared to a book, the questions are different. It's no longer particular, and it's some sort of way that transcends the very questions we ask, like being in time, Heidegger, and sometimes the the clarity isn't there. Like I Hegel is not clear in his works, but it's still important. But I would like to uh, inquire into that and how we can balance it with establishing contributing in philosophy, because there are also works like in Adorno. I don't understand him, but it's famous. Zizek and all those continental people. So Yeah.
Yeah, I think in all those cases, the authors could have done more to make their work welcoming to readers. Because in all those cases, you actually require a very special kind of training to read the books in the first place. So it's a barrier to access. But specifically, if we're thinking about kind of early career researchers, they really don't want to be writing books that readers find it difficult to read. Yeah, they could do that later when they've established a reputation and people already have a motivation to read what they write. But at the beginning, I would suggest clarity.
Okay, we have one last question here from Mr. Alberto Rotacchio Jr. So, Mr. Rotacchio, you can ask your question.
Good afternoon, Dr. Harrison. I'm Alberto M. Rotaki Jr., a graduate scholar from Don Mariano Marcos Memorial State University. You mentioned before that in the presentation, the concept of bayanihan, which is a concept towards the collective practices, relationality in the Philippines. My questions is, do you perhaps use this in your philosophical publication or inquiry, or just an example for your presentation? Thank you so much po.
Yeah, thank you for asking. It was an example for the presentation. So I wanted to find some way of connecting a concept that wasn't usually brought into a particular kind of discussion, just to demonstrate that move from topic into philosophical question. That was the key point. But in the course of actually preparing the presentation, I did get very interested in the concept.
Yeah,
Thank
sometimes
you so much.
I encounter that during dissertation proposals. No? Some graduate students use bayanihan
Hmm.
in their papers. Okay, yeah. Okay. But I'm sure other cultures also practice that. I mean, I'm sure it's not just a Filipino thing.
Hmm.
Here I got a message from our project director. She said that I can ask more. You can ask more questions. Okay, so because we had three questions already. So if anyone else wants to ask, no, please. Here's a phone in question. Okay, I mean, somebody messaged me now. How should one handle rejections? I think that's a very good question.
Hmm. Um, yeah, I think the first thing is don't lose heart. Um, some some rejections can be quite mean, and uh, you read the reports and you think that the person just hasn't taken time to read the work, hasn't understood what I'm trying to do, and it's just not fair. That does happen. There's nothing to do about it. You move on. But you should also get some rejections where the reviewer has taken time to give really constructive feedback. So my advice is don't just ignore that because you're upset about getting rejected. But if the reviewer has bothered to give you a good account of the reasons, then take that seriously, pay attention, rewrite according to good objections, good suggestions, and then just keep trying. It's not unusual to have to send a paper to several journals, go through several rounds of revision, but don't take it personally. It's just part of the job.
Just to follow up to that, Dr. Harrison, with your record of publishing lots of papers from in different journals. Have you ever received a really because background, just a friend of mine from the Department of Mathematics shared that sometimes reviewers would comment like, "What do you think of our journal? Your submission is crap," or something like that. Do you think we're some sort of like a low level journal? So it gets to be personal sometimes. Have you
Mm,
ever encountered that in your career? That
no,
the rejection
really
seemed
not.
very personal and very derogatory. Have you ever encountered that? And how?
No, I
No,
think
okay.
if that does happen, I would complain to the editor.
Okay, well that's nice. That's good to hear. Okay, at
Mm.
least we know that's an option. So yeah. Okay. So
Yeah, that there's probably not much an editor could do, but they would. Um, I presume they would
yeah.
just not use that reviewer again.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. For your
this should never be personal,
yes.
never insulting.
Yeah, that's good to hear. That's good advice, ma'am. So we have another question from Mr. Romel Villena. Sir Romel, can I ask your question, please?
Hi, Dr. Harrison. It's so nice to hear a British accent teaching philosophy. Lovely. Yeah, my question is a brief one because I know there's a lot of philosophy uh, majors who have undergrad, master's, or PhD career. Could you give us a hint or advice how to future proof a philosophy career? Yes,
Hmm.
thank you. Thank you.
Hmm. Yeah, it's a difficult question to answer quickly because as we all know, uh, fate can intervene. We can't completely future-proof. Um, but I think what we can do is try to stack the odds by doing things like attending conferences, building networks, becoming known for certain kinds of work, um, publishing as best we can, even in undergraduate journals, or postgraduate journals,
Mhm,
just building up a network, people that read our work,
mhm,
people that we are in conversation with. So when openings come up, then maybe people think of us. It's yeah, just be proactive. I think it's gone long past the time when someone could just retreat and work on a dissertation in the library for 6 years and not communicate with anyone, and then walk out with a PhD and expect a job.
mhm,
Um, yeah, we have to become part of the community of scholars as effectively and quickly as we can.
mhm. Yeah. Thank you
Okay.
Yeah,
very
I
much.
wish I had more to
Cheers.
say about that.
Thank you.
Well, again, I have one last question here. It's from a person who wants to remain anonymous, no? I hope you can still accommodate this, Dr. Harrison. Uh, he's asking, what can you say about essays written with the help of artificial intelligence? Is this frowned upon in philosophy publications?
Hmm. Yeah, I considered including something about that in the talk, but I already had too much. Um, I think there is a danger which I'm seeing increasingly as an editor. Um, People are relying too much on having AI just polish up papers,
Mhm.
create abstracts. And as an editor, I think I've got a sense of when that's happening. And when I see it, it just gives a very negative impression because you when AI is not used well, you get the sense that you're not really getting an authentic voice. It's a difficult thing to quite explain, that the writing might be it might seem perfect and no grammatical mistakes, but there's just it's as if it has no soul, if I can put it that way. You don't see the person behind the writing.
And
And
you can
as an
easily detect that without using any tool. You personally can easily
uh,
detect it.
yes, um, I'm sure in some cases I can't, and there are different ways of using AI. It's fine if you're just using it to give a light polish, a
Mhm.
final proofreading, but things that are that are more fully generated by AI, I think if it's not done with great skill, it is obvious. Um, so these things get very little editorial attention. And
Sadly, some students are resorting to AI to write their papers for them.
yeah, it looks superficially good,
Mm,
but the AI is not always a reliable philosopher,
That's. I'm
and
sure
it
tomorrow
doesn't
we. Oh, go
yeah,
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead, ma'am. Go ahead.
it doesn't help, especially younger scholars, to develop their own authentic voice if they're just happy with something that appears to imitate the way that philosophy is done by someone else.
That's. I agree with you. Yeah. Thank you very much. Okay. I hope the project director doesn't get mad at me. But Mr. Santillan, if you can summarize your question, I'll allow your question for Dr. Harrison. One last question, okay? Mr. Froilan Santillan, if you can unmute and summarize, we can have one last question. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you po. Doc, you've been writing, so if I summarize, my question is, what inspires you to go on in contributing to the body of knowledge, or maybe your own intention why you've been writing? That's my question.
Yeah, there's only one word really. I just love doing it. Um, it for me, doing this is the best thing ever. Um, Professionally, yeah, getting paid to think and to write, and having people read my work and react to it. It's just an amazing privilege. So yeah, I do it out of love. If it was just a job, then I probably wouldn't would retire. And the best thing really in the profession, from my point of view, is teaching, seeing my PhD students learning the skill and helping them to come to academic maturity, to be able to participate as full members of the community of scholarship. That's just amazing.
Thank you very much, Dr. Harrison. I'm sure the participants here are excited to see you personally tomorrow and to talk to you some more and ask you their questions. But